here we go again. Alright, PCQIs, here we go again. We're still on the Listeria hazard analysis of validation section, okay? So on this one, it's subsection history evaluation. So the topic starts off with this question. Basically says, any recent industry recalls of similar products since the last annual validation? So this question is asked, obviously, as a PCQI. You're taking Listeria. It's a big concern. So there are a lot of Listeria recalls by other facility that you can utilize and evaluate some of those areas that could also be applicable to your process. So if you're in a similar process, that you might want to keep an eye out, for those things. And you can get those through the USDA website, obviously, and also the FDA website. Any new regulatory authority recommendation, for example, guidance documents, regulations concerning Listeria. So sometimes the agencies or other, studies are out there for you to evaluate. I look at all of those things when they are available, obviously. And then kind of take a look at our internal process and basically, compare those and apply some of those guidances. Any confirmed food safety consumer complaints concerning Listeria. So this is something that you might ask your facility. If not, if you are keeping an eye out on those type of recalls, maybe your competitor or facilities that actually
you serious?
Does the same system that you have. Next one are EMP zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 clearly defined in your process. So take a look at your environmental monitoring program. Some folks, they call them pathogen monitoring program, pathogen environmental monitoring program. They all said the same thing. For me, I'm looking at this hazard analysis is for Listeria. So for the sake of example, it's your environmental monitoring zone. So take a look at those areas that are really defined on zone 1, 2, 3, 4. And on next video, we'll talk about what those zones are so you can have a better picture, okay? Are Listeria sampling location and procedures clearly defined and implemented? So a lot of it is when you are having a Listeria monitoring program as part of your PEM. Is basically you want, as a PCQ, you want to really define what you're looking at. So if you're looking at a bowl chopper, what area are you going to swab? Are you just, swabbing certain areas that, really easy to reach? And if you are, you might want to reevaluate that because it's where you're not looking that it could be, right? And we can get more in depth on that on other topic line. Are Listeria sampling performed after production activities, basically, and pre-sanitation activities? So this is when production is just done, right? Are you going to swab for Listeria for that? So just kind of to catch, if it does exist, and that's you're measuring all of the activities that just happened. So at that point,
look at this dude.
It's quite impossible to point out where it came from, right? Because you have a lot of movement in production. There's a lot of moving parts, but you want to identify if it's there. That's great, and then you do your sanitations activities, and then you swab it, and it'll be perfect, right? If it doesn't show up, so your sanitation program really worked. But you need to identify those on your SSOPs as well as your Listeria sampling program. Our Listeria sampling performed after sanitation activities are completed. So this is in segue from the first one, okay? Are there any changes on the SSOP? So sometimes there are certain processes that were changed, that were working, for the Listeria controls, but because of time constraint, somebody had changed those SSOPs flow. Maybe the sequence of cleaning. Hey, you know what? While he's over there in the middle of sanitizing, you can go over here and start your pre-rinsing. And you're looking at it going, shouldn't we both do pre-rinsing at this point? Because we're literally 3 or 4 feet from each other. So it doesn't make sense when he's finishing up and he's securing all of his cleaning and sanitation procedures, and the other person is in the middle of making an entirely new mess of spreading all of these, contaminants out. So you want to take a look at those SSOPs as well. Has there been any changes to sanitation chemical materials, equipment, suppliers, and or vendors? So this is also a preventive measure, part of your preventive controls. You got to take a look at that. Sometimes facilities, we look at the budget-wise when things are getting so expensive nowadays, and we're looking at lean management on the financial sides, and somebody's making these decisions where a new vendor approaches it just to get the account, and they would lower their prices. Obviously, that's a big hook, for you to change. And next thing you know, your process is totally out of whack, right? You gotta have everything reset. Your metering process, if you're doing that, if you're doing it manually, you got somebody that was mixing, 1 ounce per gallon on one side, and because that was super concentrated, that's why you were paying more. You got this new vendor that's basically watering down the chemicals. Now they require a cup per gallon. So you need to take a look at those aspects when you're making those decisions. So when I'm doing a validation, these are some of the questions I ask if there's any effect on the food safety aspect of the product. Okay. When a positive result is determined, are there corrective actions? If so, are they documented? So this is the one, I know I've spoken about the sequence of sampling procedures for your Listeria. Now it comes in as a percent of positive or positive. What are the corrective action in that area, right? I've seen plant basically, deep clean, deep scrub for, 2 to 3 days, resample test, send it. If it still tests positive, they keep doing that over and over and over again, right? Until it goes away and literally just clean that entire room. There's other process based on their classification of RTE or non-RTE. They have different protocol, okay, that they can fall back into. And we're going to talk about, one of those on the next topic. Are Listeria test results documented, registered, or logged? Right. So a lot of these things, sometimes you have an awesome EMP program is well written. As you can see, I'm wearing a T-shirt that says IT Blaster. So part of our division is actually create these software for you, should you wish to have them, and basically tracking all of these things for you, so you can do a trend analysis on what area got a positive hit. If you are doing vector swabbing, obviously be able to track those locations as well, as you can see how it jumps from that one particular location, and now it's moving in different direction based on our movement and our activities, and that's what that is. So if you don't have a software and you have all of these in Excel, that's awesome. Find a way to be able to do a trend analysis. So when you are evaluating certain things that happen as a PCQI, it's really hunting this down and taking a look at those trends. And sometimes they're seasonal. All of a sudden they just hit. And I've seen that happen in one of my clients. There's a certain time of the year, and come to find out that's their busiest time, where everybody's ordering, around the holidays, and they are hiring, short-term staff, short-term help, and it's just chaos at that point. And then sometimes it's also the, in this case, the pathogen is getting used to the chemicals. So you need to find out what those triggers are. So then you can work with the chemical supplier and says, okay, it's coming back up again. So I know that I need you to come back out and give different chemical solutions for me to address this concern. So those actually happens as well. So anyway, we'll stop from there, and we are going on next on the other type of validation at the end of this, so we can sign off on it. We're still going to be adding some other videos. Do catch some other things that we're still building on the hazard analysis. There's no perfect template, guys. That's why I'm not showing you what I have. I'm just basically summarizing what the content is. Should you need help, these are they are customized for your intended process and activities. So kindly let us know, info@Consultair Inc. I look forward to working with you. Thank you, PCQIs.